Rain hammered the empty street, lightning flashed, then a tiny voice whispered, "Sir, please wait." He froze mid-stride, heart pounding, turning toward the trembling silhouette under a flickering bus stop. A young girl stood soaked to the bone, clutching a half-torn school notebook tight. Her eyes, too calm for her age, met him with a quiet, unbearable kind of pain. He was just a tired single dad, umbrella broken, wallet lighter than hope itself. "Your bus gone?" he asked softly, voice cracking like the night around them. She nodded once, water streaking her cheeks that weren't just rain anymore. "Dad was supposed to come, but he doesn't pick up anymore." Silence heavier than thunder filled the space between their breaths, and everything changed. He hesitated, guilt crawling up, the same guilt of nights he'd missed his own son. "Come on," he murmured. "You'll catch a cold out here. I'll wait with you." The girl stepped closer, hesitant, studying him like he might disappear if she blinked. Cars hissed by, lights gliding across puddles that mirrored two lost souls in the storm. Her backpack had a single charm, a photo keychain of a smiling man and her. He noticed, then looked away. Some wounds don't belong to strangers' eyes. "Where's your mom?" he asked gently, though he already knew she'd whisper the word, "gone." And she did, barely a whisper, like confessing to the rain itself. He sighed, feeling the familiar ache, that hollow space only single parents understand. At that moment, they weren't strangers anymore, just two broken stories sharing one night. Then she asked it, the question that cracked him open. "Do dads always stop caring?" The line hit harder than thunder, cutting through years he thought he'd buried for good. He swallowed back the storm rising inside and forced a smile she didn't believe. "No," he said quietly. "Some dads just get lost for a while." "But what if they never find their way back?" she asked, voice trembling between faith and fear. Again, the world slowed, raindrops hanging mid-air like fate holding its breath for them. He didn't answer right away. Some truths hurt more than lies could ever heal. Then he said softly, "Then maybe someone else will help them find the road again." The girl looked up, eyes flickering with something fragile, like hope waking up inside grief. Behind them, a bus engine rumbled back to life, its headlights cutting through the downpour. "Guess your ride's here," he said, forcing a smile that felt too heavy to wear. She nodded, hesitated, then reached out her tiny hand and pressed something into his palm. It was the photo keychain, her dad's face smiling beside hers under brighter days. He stared, stunned. "You can't just give me this," he said, voice shaking with disbelief. But she smiled faintly, whispering, "Maybe you'll remind him what good dads look like." Before he could respond, she ran onto the bus, leaving him frozen under the rain. He opened his palm, staring at the keychain, and something inside him broke open. The bus disappeared into the night, but her words wouldn't stop echoing through his mind. He walked home that night with soaked shoes and a heart he didn't recognize anymore. At the door, his son was still awake, waiting, eyes hopeful, half afraid, half forgiving. "Dad," the boy said softly, "you came back early today." He knelt down, hugged him tight, rain dripping off his jacket onto the floor, and for the first time in years he whispered, "Yeah, buddy, I came home for real." But even as they held each other, he felt that small keychain burning in his pocket. The girl's face flashed again in his memory, her voice like a promise unfinished. He didn't know it yet, but that one rainy night had just rewritten his entire life. And tomorrow, he'd go searching, not for her, but for the man he used to be. Morning light crept through cracked blinds, slicing the room into pieces of gold and regret. He woke before the alarm, heart still racing from dreams he couldn't tell were memory or warning. The photo keychain lay on the table, drops of dried rain glinting like glassy tears. He reached for it, thumb brushing the girl's smile that somehow felt like forgiveness itself. His son, Liam, shuffled into the kitchen, hair wild, dragging his school bag across the tiles. "Morning, Dad," he mumbled, eyes half awake, but softer than they'd been in months. "Morning, champ," he replied, voice steady but hiding the weight still pressing behind his ribs. He poured 2 cups of coffee, one for him, one for the man he used to be. The silence between them wasn't empty anymore. It was waiting for something to begin. Liam sat down, studying him the way children read faces better than any book. "You okay?" he asked, careful, like testing ice that might crack if stepped too hard. He smiled faintly. "Yeah, just thinking about someone I met last night in the rain." Liam tilted his head, curious, cautious. "A friend?" he asked, stirring cereal too slowly. "Maybe," he said softly, eyes on the window where raindrops still traced fading memories. "She was waiting for someone who never came. Reminds me of us a little." The boy didn't reply, but his spoon stilled midair, somewhere between anger and understanding. The quiet in that kitchen felt louder than thunder rolling through the whole sky. He wanted to say more, but stopped, afraid words might shatter the fragile peace. Instead, he reached across the table, steady hand landing over his son's smaller one. "I'm trying, kiddo," he whispered, voice rough. "Trying to be here, the way you deserve." Liam looked up then, really looked, saw not the man who left, but one who returned. "Okay," he said simply, that one word holding a forgiveness larger than any apology. The dad smiled, but his eyes flicked again to the keychain beside his coffee cup. He pocketed it before leaving, not knowing it was guiding him towards something he couldn't name. At work, machines hummed, the smell of oil and dust coating every thought with fatigue. His co-workers laughed, cursed, argued, but his mind drifted back to the bus stop again. Who was that girl? Did her dad ever show? Did she reach home safely? The questions stuck like splinters under skin, small but impossible to ignore. When the heart remembers kindness, it refuses to rest until it finds its reason. During lunch break, he walked out, following the same cracked sidewalk toward the corner cafe. Rain had returned, softer now, falling like memory instead of punishment. He passed the bus stop, empty this time, but the puddle still held her reflection. He knelt down, tracing the outline of her footprint still faint in the wet dust. Something inside him whispered, "Don't let this moment fade like all the others." He looked up as a bus pulled over, the same route number she'd waited for before. The driver leaned out. "You looking for someone, sir?" "Yeah," he said, surprising himself. "A girl, maybe 10 or 11, black backpack, quiet eyes." The driver thought for a second, then nodded. "Yeah, rides sometimes. Get off near Willow Lane." He thanked him, heart pounding faster, something like purpose rushing through his veins again. It wasn't just curiosity now, it was redemption wearing a stranger's face. He followed the direction, boots splashing through puddles, wind clawing at his jacket sleeves. Every turn looked familiar, like the world had been waiting for him to come back alive. Finally, he reached a small neighborhood, peeling paint, rusted fences, laughter mixed with rainwater. Children played under dripping roofs, but she wasn't there, only echoes and muddy chalk drawings. He stopped near a narrow alley, heard faint humming, soft, trembling, heartbreak in every note. There she was, sitting on a doorstep, trying to fix her broken notebook with tape. Her hair clung to her face, but her eyes lifted the moment she sensed him there. "You again," she said, voice half surprise, half something she didn't dare call hope. He smiled gently, holding out the photo keychain she'd left him last night. "You dropped this," he said, though both of them knew it wasn't an accident. She shook her head. "No," she whispered. "I gave it to you. You needed it more." His breath caught. The honesty of a child hit harder than any sermon could. He sat beside her on the step, neither speaking for a long, heavy minute. Finally, he asked, "What's your name?" Though he felt like he already knew it somehow. "Emma," she said quietly, voice breaking slightly. "And you're the man from the rain," he chuckled, nodding. "Guess that's me. The man who almost didn't stop." She smiled faintly, hugging her knees tighter, shivering as thunder rumbled far away. "Emma," he said softly, "why were you out there alone? Waiting for someone who's gone?" Her eyes dropped, and for a second he wished he hadn't asked. But she answered anyway. "Because sometimes," she said, "you wait, just to believe they might come back." Those words sliced through him like lightning splitting a sky already torn open. He wanted to promise her the world, but he'd already broken promises of his own. So instead, he said, "Maybe some people come back in different ways." She looked at him, confused, curious, maybe even wanting to believe that could be true. A gust of wind sent her notebook flying, pages scattering like lost memories down the street. He ran after them, catching each one, soaked again but somehow alive in the chase. When he returned them, she laughed, a sound so pure it erased half his darkness. For a moment, it didn't matter who was saving who. They both were. The rain slowed and the world seemed to hold still, watching something sacred begin. He stood, offered his hand. "Come on, let's get you something warm to eat." She hesitated, then nodded, small fingers slipping into his, like trust learning to walk again. And as they walked down Willow Lane, he realized maybe she had changed his life already. They walked side by side through puddled streets, the air thick with silence and questions unspoken. The cafe bell chimed softly as they entered, warmth wrapping them like forgiveness finally allowed. Steam rose from mugs, fogging the window where raindrops still chased each other endlessly. He watched her cradle the cocoa like it was a promise she'd never been given. Her small hands trembled, but her eyes held the steady calm of quiet survivors. "Do you come here often?" he asked, trying to sound casual, failing completely. "Only when the rain wins," she said, a faint smile breaking through exhaustion's edges. He chuckled softly. Somehow, even her sadness carried the rhythm of hope unspoken. He looked around. The place smelled of old wood, cinnamon, and second chances still brewing. Outside, thunder rolled again, as if reminding them the world wasn't done testing hearts. "You live near Willow Lane?" he asked, keeping his tone gentle, letting her lead the truth slowly. She nodded. "My aunt's house. She works nights. Says rain's safer than people sometimes." The words hung heavy, each syllable a bruise shaped like loneliness, too old for her. He swallowed hard, guilt crawling back. He knew that kind of reasoning far too well. "You shouldn't be out there alone," he said, more to himself than to her. Emma shrugged, eyes distant. Sometimes being alone feels safer than waiting for disappointments. He leaned forward, elbows on the table, the keychain glinting beneath the cafe light. "I used to believe that too," he said, voice thick with years he couldn't erase. "But then one small voice reminded me what really matters." He smiled softly at her. She tilted her head, curiosity flickering like candlelight inside rain-blurred glass. "Your son?" He nodded. "Yeah, I missed too much, though providing was the same as being there." She stared at him quietly, that childlike gaze cutting deeper than judgment ever could. "My dad said that once," she whispered, tracing patterns in cocoa foam, hand slightly shaking. "He promised he'd be home after work. That was 3 years ago." He froze, the spoon in his cup clinking like guilt striking metal in his chest. She looked up then, eyes dry but voice breaking. "I still wait when it rains." He wanted to reach across, but respect held him back. Some pain needed its distance. Still, he said, maybe. He'd want you to keep believing even if he couldn't return. The girl blinked, confusion meeting compassion. Her guard slipped, revealing something fragile yet fierce beneath. You think believing helps? She asked, sounding like someone begging the truth to hurt less tonight. He smiled sadly. Believing gives the heart a place to rest until life catches up. She studied him, then nodded slowly, a tear tracing down unnoticed before she wiped it. A waitress approached, setting a cookie on the table shaped like a clumsy little heart. Emma laughed quietly. The sound rippled through the room like sunlight under gray clouds. You know, she said, you don't look like a man who smiles much. He grinned, surprised. Guess I just needed the right company. Her laughter lingered, echoing long after the moment passed, filling cracks he'd forgotten existed. When they finished, he paid, ignoring the tug of his thinning wallet once again. Outside, rain had softened to mist, turning the city into watercolor memories fading too soon. She walked beside him, notebook dry now, heart lighter though she didn't say a word. At the corner, she stopped. "This is me," she said, pointing toward a flickering porch light. He nodded, unsure how to say goodbye to someone who'd rewritten his silence overnight. "Thanks," she whispered, "for not walking past twice." He felt that line etch itself into him like truth carved in rain-soaked stone. He crouched to her height, eyes meeting hers with something close to reverence, not pity. "Take care of yourself, Emma. And remember, some people do find their way back." She smiled, hesitant, but it reached her eyes this time. "Maybe you already did." He blinked, startled by her words, but she had already turned toward the glowing door. He watched until it shut, light spilling under the frame like faith refusing to die. Then he turned, heart heavier yet somehow freer, steps echoing with purpose down the street. The world around him looked the same, but inside, something irreversible had shifted quietly. Back home, Liam was drawing, a rain scene, two figures under one shared umbrella. He stopped, staring, realizing the sketch mirrored his night in uncanny, gentle precision. "Who's that, buddy?" he asked, voice softer than memory's edge. "The man who helps people," Liam said, smiling. "That's you, Dad." And for the first time, he believed it. He truly believed it. He reached into his pocket, pulling out the keychain once more under the lamplight's warmth. Two faces smiled back, hers and her father's, but tonight he saw his own reflection there. The rain outside started again, not punishment this time, but a promise reborn as forgiveness. He whispered to himself, "Maybe she saved me, before I even knew I was lost." He turned off the light, leaving only the sound of rain filling the silence with peace. And in another small house down Willow Lane, a girl whispered the same word. "Home." Days passed, but her voice lingered, soft echoes threading through every thought he tried hiding. At work, each clang of metal sounded like raindrops spelling her name across his mind. He fixed engines, lifted crates, smiled when spoken to, but part of him stayed in that cafe. The world kept moving, yet something inside him refused to go back to sleep. He started small. Breakfast at dawn, no phone, no rushing past his son's questions. He listened, really listened, to stories about drawings, classmates, and dreams that once annoyed him. Each word felt like redemption building slowly, brick by honest brick across forgotten promises. Liam noticed, though he never said it, children sense miracles before adults can name them. At night, he'd stand by the window, rain streaking down like forgiveness, finding gravity again. He'd whisper, "Thank you, Emma," though she couldn't hear. The sky carried it somewhere kinder. Change doesn't announce itself. It arrives quietly, hidden inside ordinary acts of choosing love again. One Friday evening, he packed sandwiches, thermos, and told Liam, "We're taking a little drive." The boy blinked. "Where to?" Somewhere that taught me what not giving up looks like. They drove through steady drizzle, headlights carving paths through fog and fading doubt. When they reached Willow Lane, he parked, heart trembling with a mix of fear and peace. The porch light flickered the same way he remembered, like it never forgot that storm. He hesitated, then stepped forward, Liam clutching his sleeve, curious but trusting without needing reasons. The door creaked open. Emma's aunt stood there, weary eyes softening when she saw his face. "Emma talks about you," she said simply, voice gentle as tired rain. The man who stopped. He swallowed hard, realization crashing through him that kindness never ends where you leave it. "She's inside," the woman added, nodding toward a room glowing with paper stars and laughter. He stepped in quietly. Emma sat drawing under a lamp, hair tied, smiling brighter now. She looked up, surprise melting into joy. "You came back," he nodded. "Told you, didn't I? Some people do find their way back." Liam stood shyly behind, clutching his sketchbook like a peace offering wrapped in crayons. "This is my son," he said. "Liam, this is Emma. She's a brave one." The moment stretched, two worlds colliding softly, mending what loneliness once tore apart. They sat together, the kids comparing drawings, laughter spilling through cracked walls like healing rain. Emma showed her notebook, pages fixed neatly, words rewritten where tears had once blurred meaning. He watched, feeling something in him settle, like finally exhaling after years of drowning quietly. Her aunt smiled from the doorway, whispering, "She sleeps easier since that night. You changed something." He shook his head. "Maybe she changed me first." The woman nodded knowingly. Sometimes adults just borrow courage from children who still believe. The truth hung between them, unspoken but radiant, like lamplight touching water just right. Before leaving, Emma handed him another page, a drawing of two umbrellas crossing paths in rain. "For when it rains again," she said, "so you remember to stop." He took it, heart heavy with gratitude too deep for words, eyes shining unashamed. Outside, the drizzle had eased into mist. Streetlights shimmered like second chances taking shape. Liam slipped his hand into his father's, quiet pride glowing brighter than any apology could. They walked back to the car, not in silence this time, but in shared peace. The past still existed, but it no longer owned the road ahead of them. As the engine started, he looked once more toward the house, where hope lived again. He whispered, "Good night, Emma," knowing goodbyes weren't endings, just bridges to tomorrow. Weeks later, sunlight replaced the rain. The city bloomed like promises kept at last. He hung Emma's drawing beside Liam's on the fridge, a shrine to second chances. Each morning he'd glance at it, remembering how strangers can rewrite destinies in one storm. He wasn't the man who passed by anymore. He was the man who stayed. And on the next rainy evening, he and Liam stood by that same old stop. Another child waited alone, umbrella broken, eyes lost in shadows, familiar and forgotten. Without hesitation, he stepped forward, voice calm, heart open. "Hey, kid, need a little help?" The child looked up and smiled. The circle had come full, the rain finally gentle. He glanced at the sky, raindrops silver under streetlight, whispered softly, "We all find home." The story didn't end in thunder, but in footsteps echoing toward a kinder tomorrow. Morning sunlight spilled across his kitchen table, painting gold over the framed drawings and memories. Two umbrellas crossed beneath streaks of rain, a child's laughter echoing from another room. Coffee steamed beside a photo, Liam and Emma smiling together at last summer's fair. Hook, some stories don't end, they just learn how to breathe softer with every sunrise shared. He checked his watch, grabbed his coat, the keychain still clipped beside his house keys. It no longer hurt to see that picture. It simply reminded him he'd grown. He had built a life not perfect but peaceful, stitched from storms he once feared. Each day now began with gratitude, not guilt, and that changed everything that followed quietly. Outside, neighbors waved. He nodded back, a man recognized not by words but actions. He'd started a volunteer circle, fixing bikes, reading to kids waiting for parents running late. Hook, the same bus stop, now stood cleaner, brighter, painted blue by little hands he'd guided. He'd have taught them what Emma taught him: never walk past someone else, it's rain again. One evening, he found a letter in the mailbox, handwriting looping like laughter remembered. "Dear Mr. Rain," it read, "we moved. Aunt found a new job. We're okay." He smiled through tears, reading on. "Thank you for proving good men still exist." And at the bottom, a sketch, 3 figures under one umbrella, drawn in gentle crayon lines. He held the paper close, as if it carried the warmth of that rainy night. Hook, redemption, he realized, wasn't lightning. It was steady rain that refused to stop falling. He framed the letter, hung it near the window where light and memory always met. Liam saw it, hugged him from behind. "You did it, Dad," he whispered. "You changed." He turned, smiling. Maybe she changed us both. Outside, thunder murmured, soft and distant, a lullaby instead of a warning now. He opened the window, let the rain drift in, cleansing more than just the air. For the first time in years, he didn't flinch. He smiled and whispered, "Let it pour." Hook, the world kept raining, but it no longer drowned him. It baptized him instead. He wasn't the man who ran from storms. He'd become the one who stayed. And somewhere beyond the clouds, a small voice echoed back through memory's quiet corridors. "See, some people do find their way back." The camera pulls wide, streetlights glow, puddles mirror peace, the night humming with life. He walks away slowly, umbrella in hand, rain tracing halos around every step he takes. Voiceover fades. Kindness never ends where you leave it. It always finds another hand to hold. Final hook. Fade to black. Raindrop sound lingering like the heartbeat of a world redeemed.